afternoon Bible study live stream. Today we're going to be jumping into Deuteronomy chapter 16, which is all about the Passover celebration. So, Deuteronomy is a book. It's like Moses' last sermons and teachings before the Israeli people go and they start to claim the promised land. They've escaped Egypt, so like the Passover celebration is one of the things that they do to remember how they left Egypt. And it's one of the biggest celebrations in all of Judaism. I would argue it's one of the most, if not the most important celebration in Christianity as well. Except we're not celebrating Passover in the same way, because Jesus' whole death and resurrection happens over the course of Passover. And it was chosen for some very specific reasons. So we're going to see today some of the original rules, regulations, and purposes, I believe, in when it comes to what Moses. We'll see what Moses has to say about Passover today, at the very least. So I'm really excited. I did not read ahead, so I'm not 100% sure what's in here, but I am excited for that. So as you guys turn, sorry, I have a weird thing in my mouth, so I feel like I'm speaking weird. As you guys turn your Bibles to Deuteronomy chapter 16, or go to BibleGateway.com or the Bible app, or what have you. BibleGateway.com, the Bible app, or if you want a physical Bible and you don't have one, I'd love to send you one like this. So send me a private message, and I'd love to try to hook you up with one. But what did we read yesterday before we get into the whole Passover feast and celebration? So yesterday there was that talk about releasing debt and giving generously to those in need. We talked about slavery and how some people would choose to be slaves, which suggests that they would have had to be treated really, really well. And if they chose not to be a slave at the end of the 7 years, they would be given like farm animals, and there'd be like a celebration, and there'd be, gratitude for the work that they had done. And there was that reminder all along the way is, what it's like, so don't force other people. Like, what it's like to have bad slave owners, so don't be a bad slave owner. As you were people then, they are people now. So treat them with that dignity and respect that they deserve. And then the last part was about the firstborn male, which, without blemishes and stuff like that, for the sacrifices, which foreshadows the coming Messiah. So, and that leads us now into the Passover celebration in Deuteronomy 16. So I'm going to take one more sip of coffee, and then we're going to jump into it. Passover and the festival of unleavened bread. In honor of the Lord, celebrate the Passover each year in the early spring, in the month of Abib. For that is the month in which the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. Your Passover sacrifice may be from either the flock or the herd. It must be sacrificed to the Lord your God at the designated place of worship, the place he chooses for his name to be honored. Eat it with bread made without yeast. For 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast. as when you escaped from Egypt in such a hurry. Eat this bread, the bread of suffering, so that as long as you live, you will remember the day you departed from Egypt. So let no yeast be found in any house throughout your land for those 7 days. And when you sacrifice the Passover lamb on the evening of the first day, do not let any of the meat remain until the next morning. You may not sacrifice the Passover. You may not sacrifice the Passover in just any of the towns that the Lord your God is giving you. You must offer it only at the designated place of worship, the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored. Sacrifice it there in the evening as the sun goes down on the anniversary of your exodus from Egypt. Roast the lamb and eat it in the place the Lord your God chooses. Then you may go back to your tents in the next morning. For the next 6 days, you may not eat bread made with yeast. On the 7th day, proclaim another day in honor of the Lord your God, and no work may be done on that day. The Festival of Harvest, verse 9. Good day, Joel. Hopefully you're joining along and reading along with me in Deuteronomy 16. Just started verse 9. The Festival of Harvest. Count off 7 weeks from when you first began to cut the grain at the time of harvest. Then celebrate the Festival of Harvest to honor the Lord your God. Bring him a voluntary offering in proportion to the blessing you have received from him. This is a time to celebrate before the Lord your God at a designated place of worship he will choose for his name to be honored. Celebrate it with your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites from your towns, and the foreigners, orphans, and widows who live among you. Remember that you were once slaves in Egypt, so be careful to obey all these decrees. The Festival of Shelters, verse 13. You must observe the Festival of Shelters for 7 days at the end of the harvest season, after the grain has been threshed and the grapes have been pressed. This festival will be a happy time of celebration with your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites, foreigners, orphans, and widows from your towns. For 7 days you must celebrate this festival to honor the Lord your God at the place he chooses. For it is he who blesses you with bountiful harvests and gives you success in all your work. This festival will be a time of great joy for all. Each year, every man in Israel must celebrate these 3 festivals: the festivals of unleavened bread, the festival of harvest, and the festival of shelters. On each of these occasions, all men must appear before the Lord your God and at the place he chooses. But they must not appear before the Lord without a gift for him. All must give him as they are able, according to the blessings given to them by the Lord your God. Justice for the people. Verse 18. Appoint judges and officials for yourselves from each of your tribes in all the towns of the Lord your God is giving you. They must judge the people fairly. You must never twist justice or show partiality. Never accept a bribe, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise and corrupt the decisions of the godly. Let true justice prevail, so you may live and occupy the land the Lord your God is giving you. You must never set up a wooden Asherah pole beside the altar you build for the Lord your God, and never set up a sacred pillar for worship, for the Lord your God hates them. May God add a blessing to the reading of Deuteronomy 16. Sorry, Joel. Hopefully you're still around. I don't know. Your comment disappeared, so Hopefully I didn't say something that offended you. All I did was read, baby. So yeah, we have the importance of it, of the whole Passover thing. So it's not the details of what the Passover feast will be. Jewish people might call it Passover. They might call it the Festival of Unleavened Bread. One of the reasons for that is Jesus hasn't risen yet. That's one of the symbolisms. But then, so that's kind of cool. And like the whole, there's like signs of Christ in this, right? So sacrifice it in the evening as the sun goes down on the anniversary of the Exodus of Egypt. So Jesus, kind of getting betrayed and all that stuff, and it all happens at night that it would happen tonight. That's one of the things that we celebrate tonight is the Last Supper happens tonight. Jesus gets betrayed, and then he gets shopped around all day, and then it's like he's falsely convicted, and the cross and all that stuff gets carried out super, super quickly on Good Friday, which is tomorrow. But tonight, it's when everything kind of happens. When Jesus gets caught up in the Garden of Gethsemane, and someone tries to cut off an ear, and Jesus picks up the ear and he restores it. When there's the naked guy, like they try to grab him, and he's so afraid he just strips down and to break free from the Roman officials, and he's running naked through the woods, and Jesus is betrayed with that kiss. And then he gets shopped around to all these officials trying to get him to be, executed, and then eventually he ends up in front of Pontius Pilate. So, there's that. There was also a 3 days thing. Where am I? I missed that. Which, Jesus gets crucified, and then he comes back 3 days later. There's a lot of 7 days. I don't know. I thought maybe I'm wrong. There's a lot of 7-day things, though. But yeah, a lot of foreshadowing of Jesus and the importance of that. Still really big today, really, really big in Christianity. Then we have the Festival of Harvest, so that's a different festival. And it's just basically saying, keep these commands, right? I think ultimately one of the big things is to keep these things so that we don't forget about God, so that we don't forget like kind of what he has done for us and who he is. Why these festivals and celebrations are so important. In Christianity, we don't necessarily have the three. We have the two big ones. Christmas, Jesus coming down on the cross, coming down as a baby born in a manger. And then we have Easter. Easter, when Jesus is, crucified, put into a grave, and rises again, conquering death and inviting us into that victory with him. So Christmas is like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and Easter, the Passover celebration is like 8 days. It goes from Sunday to the following Monday. We don't have this all time off in our current world, but we do have that extended time off Friday to Monday usually, right? For some people, it's a 3-day weekend. For others, it's a 4-day weekend, where we have that extended time to celebrate Christ. One of the reasons I also really, really love Easter is it's not as marketed. Like, yeah, there's chocolate and Easter bunnies and so on and so forth, but there's a lot more purity in it. Christmas, I find, is just too materialistic, and there's a lot of emphasis on things that are not God. Where Easter, it's, if you're a Christian, it's just Jesus, 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 Jesus. And if you're not, then you can celebrate your own celebration with like a rabbit and some chocolate. But if you are a Christian, the importance of Jesus is not watered down by all this other junk. And I don't know, I like it so much more. But doing these festivals, it's important, right? These things where we can teach our family and our friends and our neighbors about, what Christ has done, or in this case, what God has done to help them escape from Egypt, or, those other the festivals of harvest and the festival of shelters, and giving thanks to God in those times for the harvest, for, the good crops and everything, and for helping them escape Egypt. There's, these good things, and throughout them, God's forgiveness and his grace is so, so important at the center of it. So, my challenge to you as we head into Good Friday, tonight at your dinner table, be reminded that this is the night around Jesus' dinner table that he is betrayed. And Jesus knows what's going on. And he lets Judas know, hey, I know what's going on, but whatever needs to be done, let it be done. Do what you must do. And he actively shows love to the ones that betray him, the ones that are hunting him down. Jesus shows love. Around the dinner table tonight, whether it's a family member, people that, think otherly politically than you, that belong to a different faith than you, that have done something to make you angry. Let today be the day when you're reminded of God's love for them, for those people that you struggle to. That as they may have betrayed you, we know that Jesus' love and forgiveness is for those who betrayed him. So have a prayer about forgiveness around the table tonight. Going into tomorrow, celebrate that Christ not only died on the cross, that he gave up his life for it, but he was willing to live, to step down from heaven, from Christmas all the way up to, his 30 whatever year. I feel bad, I should know that. 33rd year, 34th year, 32nd year? I feel bad that I don't know this off the top of my head. As soon as I stop this live stream, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's what it is. I wasn't planning on this, obviously. And on, this day when we're celebrating, Good Friday, that remember that he lived for us, leading up to his death. So to live well, to not lose sight of God throughout our lives, and for God calling us and making him aware in our life, to be thankful for it. For the somberness and the weight of our sin, to be thankful for what Jesus did for us. And that somberness. I kind of get more like a kid on waiting for Christmas morning, because I'm like, I know Sunday's coming. I know Sunday's coming. And I'm excited. I want to proclaim that Sunday's coming. Spoiler alert. On Sunday, Jesus rises from the dead. Give him all your guilt and your shame on Sunday. Give him everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. And walk in that new life, because what Jesus Christ did for you on that cross and rising from the grave. Getting Mary to be the first missionary to be and go and tell of this great wonder as he walked with the stranger on the road to Emmaus. Take joy in what Christ has done. And because it is Sunday, maybe sing a little bit of praise or something with people that you go to church with on a regular basis. But, those celebrations and stuff like that are important. Let's not forget. Moses, this whole book so far has been about not forgetting. Don't forget the commands. Don't forget the celebrations. Let us pray. AJC, awesome Jesus Christ, let us not lose sight of who you are. This Easter celebration, this Holy Week, I also at home church yesterday heard it called Passion Week. Let us not lose sight on who you are. Let us not be distracted by family, by meals, by a lot of the good things and delicious chocolate and all that sort of jazz. But help us to stay focused on you and what you did for us all week. I thank you for the inspiration to, get into breaking down what happened each day leading up to Friday and even following through all the way through Monday. It's a good reminder on who you are and what you've done for us. Let us not grow tired in our celebrations and ceremonies. Let them not just become something that we do. Like, I don't know, we just don't eat fish on Fridays. Forgetting, the reasons behind these festivals, the reasons behind Christmas, the reasons behind Easter, the reasons behind all the things that we do celebrate. And those traditions that we have that are to point us back to you, Lord. And help us to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. In Jesus' mighty and powerful name. Amen. All right. Well, thank you guys very, very much. I will not see you tomorrow. And I'm probably not going to be on again until next Tuesday. I do have a few things going on next week, so hopefully I'll still be able to get those live streams up. But for now, happy Easter, happy Passover, happy celebrating Christ this week and what he has done for us. God bless.